It's still early. I think, you kind of want to throw that second game out the window there because things came off the hinges so quickly down in Sunrise, Florida, and I think that may be accurate if you extrapolate that out for the rest of the season. I think the team that you saw in games 1 and 3 are going to be more indicative of what we'll find for the rest of the season than it was that 7-1 blowout against the Panthers. I feel like I've seen a lot of improvements in a lot of different areas from this team so far. One of the biggest ones is probably the penalty kill, and they allowed 3 goals to the Panthers on their power plays in that second game there. But again, I think it seems like too small of a sample size to call that game an anomaly. But I think when it's all said and done, that'll end up looking like one of the biggest losses of the year, just in terms of effort level and score level.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really fair to speculate, but Mason's out for personal reasons. I guess he did skate today, but I mean, is it fair to say that night maybe he just wasn't with it?
I'm wondering about that. I don't know what's keeping him away here. If that had happened by Saturday night or not, I'm not sure. He's not technically with the team. He was on the ice this morning, but he's actually not on their roster right now. They don't know exactly when to expect him back, but the fact that he's skating with them is certainly a positive sign. But with something like that, you just hope that the players' mental health is there too, because when you have family emergencies and stuff like that, people it can fall upon some dark times, and you hope that Steve Mason is just feeling better from that standpoint, more so than you do, waiting for him to get back between the pipes again.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Michal Neuvirth. I mean, if he's going to be getting some, extended looks here. I mean, is he a guy that's capable to get this extended play?
Yeah, I think so. He's been in the league long enough. He's only a month or two, I forget, older or younger, but around the same age as Steve Mason. And he's a guy who has been basically fighting for starters jobs the last few places he's been. He was with the Islanders and the Sabres last year. He's been with the Washington Capitals in the past. And I thought it was interesting talking to him in the preseason. He didn't explicitly say, I'm here to challenge Steve Mason for the starter job, but the tone of his quotes were basically, I'm expecting to get quite a few starts here, and if I do, I think they'll have a hard time taking me out. So even if Steve Mason were with the team, I think a guy coming off a shutout and looking as good as he did in that game, because that was a hard shutout for him. That wasn't one of those easy 18 shot a game shutouts where the defense is clearing the path and you're seeing every puck coming your way. That was a difficult shutout for Neuvirth on Monday night. So I think regardless, they would have had to have turned back to him tonight. His career numbers against Chicago aren't great, but then again, neither is Steve Mason. But yeah, if that is the case, that Mason is away for a week or two or whatever, which I don't think is going to be the case, but they would probably be fine with Michal Neuvirth.
That's good to see. A little bit of a competition in net there. Dave Isaac is with us. The Flyers taking on the Blackhawks tonight, and Brayden Schenn's been a guy that we've been kind of waiting for. I think I read somewhere that he's got game winners in like 5 of the last 6 wins for the Flyers, something to that extent. 2 goals this year was the game winner against Florida on Monday night. Are you seeing him mature a little bit? Do you like what you've seen from Schenn? Could he become the guy that they thought they were trading for at some point?
Yeah, and it's tough to say, like, where is that ceiling? What exactly were they expecting of him? I mean, he had that label attached to him at the time of that Mike Richards trade that he was the best player not in the NHL. Well, he's not exactly an elite NHL player right now. I don't know, does the best player not in the NHL, is he supposed to be Steven Stamkos, or is he supposed to be, a regular NHL third liner, and he's just not? So I certainly think he's motivated now. The start of preseason was rather interesting. He was on basically the 5th line when they were, in camp with 6 lines or whatever the case may be. Then you had the general manager saying, that he was okay, and he didn't get a contract extension, and Sean Couturier did, and they were basically going to wait out for him. I think that motivated him. I don't think that was meant to lower his stock in any way. But I think Brayden Schenn certainly is motivated after hearing that. And I thought he had a really good camp, and I think he's done pretty well so far this season on that left wing spot. He's been on the second line.
They've has a couple healthy scratches, some guys tinkering here and there. I know Umberger has been hurt, so you saw Sam Gagner play the other night. He ended up with an assist in the game. Anything different for tonight that you know of yet?
No, the roster will be the same tonight. Gagner was on Sean Couturier's line on Monday night. He'll be the left wing on Scott Lawton's line tonight, and Wayne Simmonds will go back up to Couturier's line. And Haxtell said this morning, Dave Haxtell, just that he was kind of tinkering a little bit just to see what it's like in a game situation here. So I guess that'll be interesting to see. But it's basically the same lineup tonight against the Blackhawks as it was against the Panthers.
We know Michael Neuvirth in goal for Philadelphia. Kimmo Timonen, they'll honor him tonight. The 8 o'clock start. You can hear the game here on 97.3 ESPN. And I know you have a piece about what Kimmo meant to the Flyers and the fact that he got that championship. I know I read your piece that, Wayne Simmonds said, I wasn't even going to watch the playoffs last year, but having him in there made me want to watch. So it kind of shows you he was very impactful to this group of guys.
Definitely. And the other thing that was in that story that I found a little, interesting at the time was, the Flyers get knocked out of the Cup Finals in 2010 by the Blackhawks. But last year, all the Flyer fans were turning to Chicago because, they adored Kimmo Timonen for the last 7 years. And, even though it was the Blackhawks that beat the Flyers, they wanted to see him. Kimmo could lift the cup because, it was clear even before he had blood clots last August that last year was going to be his last season.
Dave, by the way, who's the backup goaltender if Mason's not on the roster?
Jason LaBarbera was called up the other night and sat there for the game. He wasn't there for the morning skate Monday, but he is still with the team. Mason was on the ice this morning, but so is LaBarbera. He'll be the backup.
Any idea what they're planning on doing for Kimmo tonight? Is this going to be a pretty cool night for him?
Yeah, it's going to be a pregame ceremony. It starts at 8:04 on the dot. So I would imagine that would be carried on television. And this is a nationally televised game for the Wednesday night rivalry. So I would imagine that you would be able to see that on TV. But it'll be a pregame ceremony. They're not retiring his number or anything like that. I think both teams will be out. Typically for home openers for teams, the other team is still in their locker room while the players get announced and all that. But I would imagine that you see the Blackhawks sitting on the bench when Kimmo Timonen gets honored tonight. It's really just to kind of honor his career and wish him well in retirement. It's not a Flyers Hall of Fame. That'll come someday, I'm sure, in the years to come. And it's not a jersey number retirement or anything like that. But it'd be a pretty cool kind of honoring ceremony. And, he got emotional last year in March when he came to Philly as a member of the Blackhawks, and he was one of the stars of the game and got to give his ovation that way and wave to the crowd, and they all gave him the standing O. So that was pretty cool to see. I imagine tonight will be the same.
Good stuff from Dave Isaac. For more Courier Post online and 97.3ESPN.com, you can read all of Dave's stuff. And, of course, at Dave G. Isaac on Twitter. Flyers tonight at 8 o'clock here on 97.3. All right, Dave, enjoy the game, pal.
Thanks, Mike.